The little girl stood barefoot on the gravel, clutching a phone too big for her hand. "He said it wouldn't hurt," she whispered to the biker on the line, voice cracking. The Harley idled in the background, its low rumble swallowing the silence that fell after her words. "Welcome to M Facts. Before we start this story, tell us where in the world you are watching from. And if you believe kindness should never die, please subscribe and help us keep stories like this alive." The call came into the Hells Angels, volunteer line just after sunset when the world turns dim and honest. In the old clubhouse outside Missoula, Montana, the patched men were winding down, boots off, engines cooling, coffee gone lukewarm. Sam Riker was finishing paperwork no one believed he genuinely enjoyed when the phone lit red. He answered with his usual gravel soft voice. "Hells Angels support line, you're safe, talk to me." At first he heard only breathing, thin, shaky like someone counting seconds between heartbeats. Then a girl's voice. He said it wouldn't hurt. Hawkeye sat up straight. "Sweetheart, you're okay? Who said that?" But she didn't answer. He heard sniffing, fabric rustling, a small exhale that sounded more like defeat than fear. "What's your name?" he asked, gentle as he could manage. "Macy." "How old are you, Macy?" "7. His stomach tightened. Kids rarely called unless something felt terribly wrong to them, and it didn't matter whether the threat was real or imagined, fear in a child's voice hits men like him in the old places. "Where are you right now?" he asked. Silence. Then, "Outside, I ran." Hawkeye signaled to Frank and Jonah with a lift of his chin. Two big men who didn't need explanations stood immediately. Years in the Angels taught them a language made of glances, not words. "Macy," Hawkeye murmured, grabbing his cut. "Tell me where outside is." "A blue house," she whispered. "A little river behind it. Mommy's car is gone." He scribbled notes, mind mapping the area. "Are you hurt?" "No," but he said it wouldn't hurt, and then it did. And then he said not to cry. Her breath hitched on the last word. Jonah stopped in his tracks, jaw tightening. Hawkeye kept his voice steady. "You're not in trouble. And nobody is mad at you for crying. Can you tell me who he is?" Macy sniffed. "Mommy's friend, the one fixing the pipes." A plumber. Hawkeye's thoughts raced, but he didn't jump to conclusions, not after all he'd seen. Sometimes the darkest stories weren't the ones people assumed. "Did he touch you?" "No," Macy said quickly, but what? The way she said it flickered against his instincts. Something off, something important. "We're coming to you," Hawkeye said. "Stay where there's light." The three bikes roared onto the road like thunder rolling off the mountains. Hawkeye rode lead, shoulders hunched slightly forward, eyes scanning the street numbers as dusk settled into a blue that hid more than it revealed. Macy stayed on the phone, her voice tiny against the engine noise. "I'm by the mailbox now. I can see the river if I stand on my toes." "Good, don't go near the water," Hawkeye said. He hated how automatic it sounded, like he'd said those words before to someone small, someone long gone. Frank parked first. "See her," he muttered, nodding toward a little shape near the fence. Macy stood like she was waiting for permission to breathe. Barefoot, oversized t-shirt, knees dusty. When she saw the bikes, she didn't run, she just sagged in relief, which unnerved Hawkeye more than panic would have. He knelt in front of her. "Hey, sweetheart, I'm Hawkeye. Nobody's gonna hurt you tonight." Her eyes brimmed instantly. "I didn't mean to be bad, she choked. "He said it wouldn't hurt." Frank exchanged a look with Hawkeye. What the hell happened here? Hawkeye guided her to sit on the porch steps. The house behind her was small, paint flaking along the trim. A toolbox sat open in the yard, tools scattered like someone left in a hurry. "Macy," he said gently, "I need you to tell me what happened. Not the scary version, just the real one." The girl hugged her knees. "He was fixing the pipes under the sink. Mommy said she'd be right back from the store. But then the pipes made a loud bang, like they were mad." Frank frowned. "A pressure pop." Macy nodded fast. "He told me it wouldn't hurt, but then it splashed me, the hot water. It burned my arm." She lifted her sleeve. A pink welt ran across her forearm. Hawkeye exhaled slowly. Relief mixed with a different kind of anger. Someone let a kid get scalded and didn't take her to be checked. "Did he do anything else? Did he yell, touch you, scare you?" Macy shook her head. "No, he got real scared. He kept saying, don't cry, your mommy's gonna blame me." "Ah, fear, guilt, not malice, a tragic misunderstanding." "What happened after the water hit you?" Hawkeye asked. Macy wiped her face. "He tried to put cold water on it, but the sink was still broken. So he used the hose outside, but Mommy came back and she got mad. She thought he wasn't watching me right. They yelled. I ran outside so they wouldn't fight." Hawkeye felt the story settle into place, not the horror he feared, but still a pain sharp enough to bruise a child's heart. "Your arm hurts pretty bad, huh?" he said. She nodded. Frank crouched beside them. "We can get that looked at, no trouble." Macy leaned closer to Hawkeye, voice barely holding together. "Am I in trouble?" Mommy said running makes everything worse. That hit Hawkeye in a place he didn't show anyone. "You're not in trouble," he said. "Running when you're scared just means you need someone to catch you safe." Macy stared up at him, lip trembling. "Are you catching me?" He swallowed. "I am, kiddo." Behind them, headlights turned into the driveway, her mother's car returning, and Hawkeye braced for whatever truth that moment would bring. The car door slammed before the engine even shut off. A woman sprinted toward them, grocery bags forgotten in the passenger seat. Her face was flushed, panic pushing her forward. "Macy, oh God, Macy." The little girl flinched at the volume, instinct more than fear, and Hawkeye rose slowly, placing himself just slightly between them. Not blocking, just buffering. Years of dealing with scared kids taught him that sometimes even love came in too loud. "I'm her mother," the woman gasped, eyes darting to the patched vests, then to Macy's arm. I didn't know she ran out. I came home and she was gone," and her voice cracked. "Macy, baby, why would you leave?" Macy looked down at her toes. "You were yelling, I thought you were mad at me." The mother's breath stuttered. "No, sweetheart, I was upset at him, not you. You got hurt, I should have been home, I should have." She covered her face, shaking. Hawkeye stepped forward. "Ma'am, she's safe, but her arm needs checking. Burns not deep, but a clinic visit's smart." Her mother nodded, tears slipping through her fingers. "Thank you, I didn't even know she was this scared." Inside the house, the air smelled faintly of metal and damp wood. A cabinet door lay on the floor where the plumber had removed it. Tools were scattered beneath the sink. Hawkeye crouched to inspect the area while Macy sat with her mother at the kitchen table. Frank whistled low. That pressure line blew hard. The plumber, James, stood near the wall, wringing his cap in his hands. He looked 30-ish, pale with guilt. "I swear I didn't mean for the kid to get hit. I told her to stay back. I even blocked the spot with a bucket, but kids move, you know." His voice cracked. "She cried, I panicked. I thought her mom would fire me. Or worse. I kept telling her not to cry because I didn't want to scare her more. I didn't know she'd run." Hawkeye studied him. Not the posture of a predator, but a man drowning in fear of responsibility. "You should have called someone," Hawkeye said quietly. "I know," James whispered. "I was stupid." Macy peeked over. "He's not bad," she murmured. "He tried to help." Hawkeye nodded slowly. "Yeah, I can see that now." Macy's mother dabbed ointment gently across the burn while Hawkeye leaned against the counter, arms crossed. He wasn't one to hover, but something about this small family stirred old echoes he didn't like sitting with. Macy winced, sucking inward as the cold touched the pink skin. Her mother froze. "Too much." Macy shook her head. "It's okay, it doesn't hurt like before." Then her mother looked at Hawkeye, really looked. "Thank you for coming. I didn't even know the Angels had a support line." "We keep it quiet," Hawkeye replied. "Help when needed, no fuss." She nodded. "Well, you helped." James shuffled awkwardly. "Should I go? I don't want to cause more trouble." Macy surprised everyone. She slid off the chair, walked to him, and held out her tiny hand. "Thank you for trying to make it stop hurting." James blinked fast. "I'm so sorry, kiddo." Her mother softened. "You can finish the repairs tomorrow. Just knock first." Hawkeye watched the exchange like someone standing at a window into a life he wasn't sure he still understood. Macy turned to him. "Can you stay a little?" He hesitated, then nodded. They sat outside on the porch steps. Night had moved in quietly, brushing the river with silver. Cicadas hummed. The three Harleys waited in the driveway like silent guards. Macy leaned against Hawkeye's side, small and warm, trusting. He kept his arm loose around her so she didn't feel trapped, just anchored. "My daddy used to sit like this," she said suddenly. Hawkeye's breath hitched. "Yeah. He died when I was 4. I don't remember a lot, just that he had a jacket like yours, with a big patch." Hawkeye blinked. "He rode." She nodded. "Mommy says he was wild but good. He used to say bikes make you brave." Something deep in Hawkeye shifted. He didn't speak for a long moment. Macy lifted her uninjured hand, placing it on his vest. "Yours feels like his." Hawkeye swallowed hard. "I'll take that as a compliment." She looked up at him. "Are you brave?" "Some days," he murmured. She leaned closer. "I didn't know who to call, but something in my tummy said the biker people would help." He exhaled. "You listen to your gut, that's brave too." Macy's mother stepped onto the porch, arms folded loosely, eyes tired but calmer now. Clinic said they can see us first thing in the morning, she said softly. Thank you again, I know you didn't have to come. Hawkeye stood. Kids call, we show, that's the rule. She nodded, wiping her cheek. I didn't realize how scared she really was. I thought she was adjusting fine since her dad passed. Macy touched her mother's hand. I didn't want you to be mad or sad. Her mother knelt and pulled her close. Baby, you running off scared me more than anything. You don't have to hide feelings from me, ever. Macy leaned into her, breathing steady for the first time since they arrived. Hawkeye cleared his throat. We'll check on you tomorrow, just to be sure everything settles. Her mother smiled. You're good men. Hell's angels aren't saints, Hawkeye said gently, but we don't let kids hurt alone. Jonah revved his engine softly, a respectful signal. Macy squeezed Hawkeye's hand. Will you come back? He nodded. Count on it. The next morning brought soft rain, the kind that tapped gently on windows like it was asking to be let in. Hawkeye parked his bike at the curb and paused, listening to the quiet. No shouting, no panic, just a lived-in calm. Macy sat on the porch swing with a blanket around her shoulders. When she spotted him, she lifted her unbandaged arm and waved like she'd been waiting all morning. You came, she said, smiling small but real. Promised I would. Hawkeye climbed the steps, boots thudding lightly. How's the arm? She looked down at the fresh bandage. Cold medicine hurt worse than the burn, she whispered with a giggle. The nurse put stuff that stung. Hawkeye cracked a rare smile. That means it's working. Macy scooted closer. Mommy's inside talking to the plumber man. She said everybody's gotta say sorry today. Everybody? Hawkeye repeated. Macy nodded. Even Mommy, she said, yelling made me think I did something wrong. Her voice softened. I thought everything was my fault. Hawkeye felt that land inside him in a sharp, familiar way. Hey, he said quietly, kids don't cause grown-up storms, ever. Macy picked at the edge of her blanket. Mommy said Daddy used to tell her that, too, about storms. Hawkeye looked at the river, remembering his own father's voice, rough, distant, but steady in rare moments. Smart man, he murmured. The screen door creaked open. Macy's mother stepped onto the porch, rubbing tiredness from her eyes. She looked stronger than the night before, a woman trying to rebuild something fragile inside her home. Morning, she said. Morning, Hawkeye replied. I wanted to thank you properly. She clasped her hands. Last night, after things settled, Macy told me what she thought was happening, and I realized something. She's been carrying fear she didn't have words for. Not about James, but about me losing it, about the house, about everything since her dad died. Macy glanced up, worried she'd said too much. Her mother sighed. She heard me arguing with the landlord last week. Heard me talking about bills. Thought if anything went wrong, anything at all, it meant we'd lose the house. Hawkeye nodded slowly. Kids listened. Kids carried things quietly. Macy whispered, I didn't want Mommy to cry again. Hawkeye crouched so he was eye level with her. Macy, look at me. She lifted her chin, anxious but willing. Your job is to be 7, he said. Not to fix grown-up problems, not to worry about houses or bills. That's not your... Macy swallowed. When the water burned me, James said don't cry. I thought crying made everything worse. I thought Mommy would yell 'cause we'd have to pay for the pipes. And then when Mommy yelled at James, I thought I broke the whole house. Her mother hugged her firmly, tears slipping. No, baby, none of that was your fault. Hawkeye rested a hand on the porch rail. Fear gets loud when nobody helps carry it. Macy nodded slowly, as if the weight she'd been dragging finally made sense. Can you help Mommy carry it? She whispered. To a point, Hawkeye said gently. James stepped outside then, hat in hand, shoulders tight with regret. In daylight, he looked even younger, like a man trying to prove he deserved to be trusted again. I wanted to say something, he said quietly, to both of you. Macy clutched her blanket but didn't hide. James knelt a respectful distance away. Macy, I should have taken you to the hospital right away, or called your mom, or something. I froze. That's on me, not you. Macy studied him with an honesty only kids carried. You looked scared. He nodded. Thought your mom would think I hurt you. Her mother stepped forward. I'm sorry for yelling. I was scared too. I thought you weren't watching her. I was, James said, just not well enough. The 3 adults shared a moment of awkward humility, 3 people bruised by misunderstanding, each taking responsibility for their part. Macy tugged Hawkeye's vest. Are you mad at him? Hawkeye shook his head. No, he messed up. But he owned it, that matters. James exhaled, relief sagging his shoulders. If you want me to finish the job, I will, but only if Macy feels okay. She nodded shyly. You can. By midday, the new pipes were installed, the kitchen steady again. Rain had passed, leaving the yard washed clean. James packed his tools quietly, offering Macy a little plastic wrench keychain. For emergencies, he joked. She grinned and tucked it into her pocket. Macy's mother brewed coffee for the three angels, strong, black, steaming like apologies rising into the air. They sat around the small table, boots leaving faint dust circles on the linoleum. You didn't have to stay, her mother said softly. Hawkeye shrugged. Most people don't call us until something's already broken. Kid called before the real break. That deserves showing up. Macy rested her head against his arm. It felt safer when you were here. He swallowed. You're safe with your mom, that's where safety starts. She nodded, but her hand didn't leave his sleeve. Her mother watched the two of them, eyes softening. Hawkeye, you remind her of him, her dad. That hit deeper than he expected. He cleared his throat. Hope that's a good thing. It is, she said quietly. He was rough around the edges, but he always showed up. Hawkeye nodded. Then I'll keep doing that. Afternoon settled warm and golden across the porch. Macy lay stretched on her stomach, coloring in a notebook while Hawkeye watched her from the railing. Her mother hung laundry nearby, letting the breeze carry the quiet. Macy lifted her drawing. It's you, she announced. Hawkeye squinted. I look taller in real life. She giggled. I gave you bigger boots so you can stomp the bad dreams away. He exhaled through his nose, a soft sound, almost a laugh but edged with ache. That's a solid upgrade. She flipped to another page. This one's my daddy. Mommy said he used to help people too, even when he didn't know how. Hawkeye studied the shaky crayon lines. A man with a beard, a big jacket, a bike too wide for the paper. Good drawing, he murmured. Macy rolled onto her back, staring up at the sky. Mommy says helping hurts sometimes. Sometimes it does, Hawkeye agreed. Doesn't mean you stop. She let the silence stretch, toes wiggling. I'm glad I called you, she said softly. My belly felt messy until you came. Hawkeye swallowed. I'm glad you called too, kiddo. Dinner was simple. Grilled cheese, tomato soup, and paper plates. Hawkeye ate with the quiet manners of a man raised rough but raised right. The kitchen felt warmer than the day before, like the house itself had exhaled. Macy swung her legs under the table. Will the bad dreams come back? She asked. Her mother brushed a curl from her forehead. Maybe sometimes, but now you can tell me when things feel too big. Macy nodded, then looked to Hawkeye. What about you? Do bikers have bad dreams? Hawkeye paused mid-bite. He wasn't used to being asked things that direct. Yeah, he said eventually. Everyone does. Difference is we talk to our brothers when they get loud. Macy considered that. I don't have brothers. You got a whole clubhouse now? Hawkeye said, voice low. Her eyes widened. Really? Really? Her mother blinked, caught off guard. Is that okay? Hawkeye nodded. We look out for our own. And she reached out to us. That counts. Macy tapped her spoon thoughtfully. Then I'm not alone anymore. No, Hawkeye said, something deep in him shifting. You're not. After dinner, Hawkeye stood by his bike while Macy inspected every chrome inch like it held secrets to the universe. She ran a finger along the tank. It's warm, she whispered. Rode it a lot today, Hawkeye replied. She's got feelings too. Macy's eyes lit. Bikes have feelings. Not like people, he smirked, but they tell you when something's wrong. You just gotta listen close. She placed her ear to the seat, giggling. I hear humming. That's the engine settling. She stepped back, suddenly serious. When Daddy died, his bike got sold. Mommy said we needed money. But I always thought, maybe he was sad nobody listened to it anymore. Hawkeye felt his throat tighten. Bikes don't mind where they go, they just want to be ridden. Macy nodded, though her eyes glistened. Sometimes I pretend he's still riding somewhere. Hawkeye knelt beside her. Maybe he is. Roads don't end just because people do. Macy leaned against him, small but steady. If Daddy saw you helping me, he'd like you. Hawkeye closed his eyes briefly. Hope so, kiddo. Twilight settled in, turning everything a soft copper. Hawkeye knew he should leave soon. The club expected him back, but something in him resisted stepping off that porch. Macy's mother approached, hands tucked in her sweater sleeves. You've done more for us than you know, she said quietly. Hawkeye shook his head. Just answered a call. No, you calmed a storm. I haven't been doing well since my husband passed. I've been trying, but Macy, she's been carrying pieces I didn't see. Hawkeye watched Macy chase a firefly across the yard. Kids hide fear to protect the people they love. Her mother's voice trembled. I'm supposed to be the one protecting her. You are, Hawkeye said. You showed up, you listened, that's more than most. She wiped her cheek. I don't know how to repay you. You don't owe me anything. He paused, just keep talking to her. Even when it's hard. Macy returned then, cupping a firefly in her palms. She opened them to reveal its tiny light. Look, she whispered. It's not scared when you hold it gentle. Hawkeye nodded. Neither are you anymore. Hawkeye finally swung his leg over the bike, the engine rumbling alive beneath him. Macy stood in the driveway, wrapped in her blanket, fireflies blinking around her like tiny guardians. Will I see you again? She asked, voice hopeful but steadier than before. Hawkeye rested both hands on the bars. Yeah, I'll check in. Clubhouse isn't far. Macy stepped closer. Can I call again? Not for scary stuff, just when my belly feels messy. He softened, anytime. Her mother waved from the porch. Thank you, Hawkeye, truly. He nodded once, the way men do when words feel too small. As he rolled down the street, Macy shouted after him, Your boots are big enough to stomp all the bad dreams. He couldn't help the smile pulling at his mouth. When he reached the end of the road, he looked back. Macy stood under the porch light, blanket trailing, one hand lifted high, small, brave, healing. The bike hummed beneath him, warm, alive. For the first time in a long while, Hawkeye felt something loosen in his chest. Maybe storms didn't end. Maybe you just learned to carry someone else through them. Sometimes the bravest call is the one made by the smallest voice. And sometimes the people society expects the least from are the ones who show up first. If this story touched your heart, subscribe, like, and join our family. We ride together through every storm.